All right, looks like someone's got the travel bug. This pile of brochures for Suriname is making me want to book a flight right now.
Yeah, forget about those crowded beaches and those tourist traps. This is all about a deep dive into, I think they call it South America's hidden gem. A place where you can really get back to nature.
Well, right off the bat, you can tell they're trying to attract a certain kind of traveler. Like they keep using the phrase discerning traveler.
Right.
Escape the crowds, get off the beaten track, get back to nature. It's definitely not your typical vacation package. What do you think they're going for with that whole discerning traveler thing?
I think they want someone who, well, values those authentic experiences, someone looking for something more than, just laying on the beach. They're the kind of person who wants their travels to, like, reflect their values.
Yeah. And maybe a little bit of exclusivity too, right? It's like they're saying, come see this hidden gem before everyone else does. And they're really emphasizing how different Suriname is from those more typical Caribbean destinations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the whole ecotourism thing comes in. And it's not just about those pristine rainforests and all those amazing animals, although, I mean, those are definitely a big draw. It's about traveling responsibly, making sure that, you're having the best experience while minimizing your impact.
Yeah, they use phrases like virgin rainforest and a wealth of wildlife. It really paints a picture, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. It taps into this, like, desire we have for untouched beauty, for seeing nature in its like purest form. And the fact that Suriname has dedicated so much of its land to national parks and nature reserves shows how serious they are about conservation.
Okay, so what does all this mean for the average traveler? I see things like rambles, hikes, and treks, and then it mentions like air-conditioned 4x4 vehicles. It sounds like a real adventure, but with a bit of comfort too, huh?
Well, that's an important part of ecotourism, right?
Mm.
They're trying to balance that excitement of exploring with like enough comfort to make it doable for, different types of travelers, all without losing that authentic feel.
They're really selling that adventurous and exclusive vibe. Stunning locations, unbeatable prices, awe-inspiring national parks, unrivaled program. Definitely grabs your attention.
And this is where the economics of tourism in Suriname get interesting. The brochures mention that it has a relatively modest tourist sector. Now, for that discerning traveler, that's a huge bonus. It means it's a destination that's still under the radar, a place where you can really experience the culture and the nature without feeling like you're, just another tourist.
So it's not just about what Suriname has, it's about what it doesn't have, right? Like those massive crowds and all that overdevelopment you see in other popular spots.
Exactly. They're taking what some might see as a negative and spinning it into a positive. It's all about appealing to someone who wants something different, something off the beaten path.
It's a smart strategy, especially since more and more people are looking for travel options that are sustainable and responsible. But what does all this mean for you, the potential traveler? What can you realistically expect if you decide to visit Suriname?
So let's head into the heart of Suriname, where the real adventure begins. These brochures talk about the renowned landscapes in our heartland, which sounds like they're talking about, going beyond the coast, deeper into the country.
Yeah, heartland. It's like they're saying
Yeah.
this is the core of what Suriname is, right?
Yeah.
Like they're inviting us to experience the soul of the country.
Exactly. We're moving past those regular tourist spots and into this world of untouched rainforests and rivers, those traditional villages. This is where those rambles, hikes, and treks really come into play.
And that phrase, savor the taste of the bush. I gotta wonder what kind of like unique experiences are waiting for us there in the heartland. What kind of flavors, scents, and sounds will transport us to this, untamed paradise?
That's a great way to put it, yeah. It's not just about seeing the rainforest. It's about feeling that humidity, smelling the earth, hearing all the animals. It's about being fully immersed.
Yeah, like they're saying, use all your senses, become part of this environment. And while they're pushing this like authentic, almost primal connection with nature, they also mention things like air-conditioned 4x4 vehicles.
Right. There's that balance again, comfort without messing up the environment. It opens up these remote areas while still being mindful of those delicate ecosystems.
So you're saying you can have that thrill of venturing out into the unknown, but you don't have to sacrifice a good night's sleep. Sign me up.
But seriously, it's pretty cool how they're catering to travelers who like adventure, but also, appreciate a little comfort.
That's a big part of the travel market these days, and it seems like Suriname's really got it figured out. And speaking of amazing experiences, these brochures really hype up those awe-inspiring national parks.
Oh, yeah. You can't think of Suriname without picturing waterfalls, jungles, all those incredible animals. What makes these parks so special? It's not just about stunning views, although they definitely have those. It's about conservation. Protecting these huge areas of rainforest and all that biodiversity, it's a chance to see like nature at its most powerful.
Yeah, and awe-inspiring is the perfect word. You're face-to-face with something bigger than yourself. It makes you appreciate how everything's connected, you know?
Right. And for adventurous travelers, these parks are like endless possibilities.
Hiking through jungles, kayaking down rivers, seeing rare animals. It's a dream come true for nature lovers. What kind of wildlife are we talking about?
Well, Suriname has all kinds of creatures. Jaguars, giant anteaters, colorful macaws, howler monkeys. Imagine like seeing a tapir drinking from a river or a bunch of monkeys swinging through the trees.
It's like you're in a nature documentary, but you're actually in it. Speaking of which, I'm curious about the accommodations. We talking rustic campsites or something a bit fancier?
Well, they don't go into too much detail about specific lodging in the heartland, but earlier they did mention things like waterfront villas that sleep up to 6, self-catering.
Waterfront villas. Now that sounds pretty luxurious, especially if they're nestled in those landscapes we've been talking about.
It does. It's possible there are similar options, like maybe eco lodges or high-end campsites near the parks. You know, places for those who want adventure but also want some comfort and privacy.
It fits with the kind of traveler they're aiming for, right? Those discerning travelers probably want something authentic, something immersive, but with a touch of luxury.
Exactly. And it shows that ecotourism isn't always about roughing it. It's about enjoying nature in a way that's sustainable. And that can definitely include, comfy accommodations and nice amenities.
So you're saying you can trek through the rainforest and then relax in a waterfront villa at the end of the day. Starting to see why they call it a hidden gem.
It's a pretty good combination. Adventure, unspoiled nature, and a little luxury. It's like Suriname's found the perfect mix.
It's more than just clever marketing, though, right?
Yeah.
It seems like they're really serious about sustainability and responsible tourism.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just about a great vacation. It's about, traveling in a way that benefits both the traveler and the place they're visiting.
Which brings us back to that big question. What's our responsibility as travelers when we're visiting places like Suriname? We've talked about how dedicated they are to preserving their natural beauty, but what can we do to make sure it stays that way?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in all the excitement when you're, exploring somewhere new. But we can't forget that what we do, the choices we make, they all have an impact. What can travelers do to, support Suriname's efforts to make tourism sustainable?
It really starts with being, informed and aware. Do your research, look for tour operators and places to stay that are committed to, being responsible both environmentally and socially. See if they have certifications or if they're part of any organizations that focus on sustainable tourism. So it's not enough to just pick eco-friendly tours. We got to think about our choices throughout the whole trip. What about interacting with the local culture? Suriname has a lot more to offer than just its natural beauty, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's so important to engage with the local communities respectfully. It's about, really immersing yourself in their way of life, supporting those local businesses, understanding their culture. We're guests in their country, after all.
It's not just about checking things off a list. It's about, having a real cultural exchange, leaving a positive impact.
Exactly. Even learning a few basic phrases in their language, going to cultural events, or even volunteering if you have the time, those things can make a big difference. They enrich your experience, and they benefit the community, too.
The brochures mention savoring the taste of the bush. I'm picturing, these bustling markets with all these exotic fruits and spices. It's a chance to experience the local cuisine, right?
Food is such an amazing way to connect with a culture. Be adventurous, try those local dishes, eat at restaurants that are locally owned. You'll be supporting the economy and getting a real taste of what Suriname's all about.
What about souvenirs? How can we make sure that, what we buy is ethical?
It's all about choosing things that are made by local artisans, authentic crafts and products. Stay away from anything that's made from endangered species or things that harm the environment. Just a little bit of research can help you make better choices.
So it's all about leaving a positive impact, both on the environment and the culture. It's about understanding that the choices we make as travelers really do have consequences.
Exactly. Everything we do, the airlines we fly, the souvenirs we buy, it all adds up.
This deep dive into Suriname has been, well, eye-opening. We've talked about their commitment to ecotourism, seeing how amazing their natural beauty is, and even dreamt about those waterfront villas and all those exotic flavors.
But I think the most important thing we've learned is that being a responsible traveler really matters. It's not just about the destination, it's about how we get there.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Suriname, I'm feeling pretty excited about the possibilities of, traveling ethically.
Remember, every trip is a chance to learn, to grow, and to make a difference. So as you head out on your own adventures, think about what kind of traveler you want to be.
What a great question. And with that, we'll say goodbye. Safe travels, everyone, and may your journeys be full of wonder and purpose.